Hello and welcome. Happy birthday to the channel. It's kind of insane, but one trip around the sun and the channel's still standing. So I guess that's a good sign for longevity. But as a very special episode, we're going to be celebrating the first beautiful volume works. Mic check is okay. Very special episode. Just want to say thank you, the listener, for watching because we almost hit 2,500 subscribers before our first birthday, and that is something to be proud of. Big round of applause. I don't have a soundboard, but we got to do it manually. Woohoo! Freak out, go crazy. Really special episode today. I'm gonna be talking about the way I got here. There was a lot of time in between when I started the channel and now when I'm starting to get views. And there's a lot of things that I've done that I think anybody really could do. Good girl, Bella. Anybody really could do if they really want to focus on YouTube, if they really want to be successful. And so I think that one of the things that I want to do is I just want to share my screen and I kind of want to just cover like my analytics. I kind of just want to go to my channel and kind of just go over, no, it's just that video. Kind of just go over, so this is in the last month, but how did we go from, if we look at the last year, how did we go from last year, April 22nd, 3 views, right? To yesterday we got 90,000 views. How is it possible that a kid from Elgin who just loves goblins could just throw videos up and get this kind of results? First off, it's because the awesome listeners who watch my videos, every single one of you, I really appreciate you. You like, you subscribe, you comment, and that really does mean the world to me. But the big thing that I saw as a change over this time was the amount of videos that I put out. So I really wasn't doing consistent uploads. I was doing like a video here, a short there, but one of the big things that helped my channel was this first spike was Modern Horizons 3. When Modern Horizons 3 dropped, I did a bunch of YouTube shorts, and if we actually go to my content, I can sort by date. I can go shorts. The oldest shorts that I have were Outlaws of Thunder Junction, spoilers, and Modern Horizons 3 talk. And so what I did, look, April 29, 2 videos. April 30th, 3 videos. May 1st, I put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos. And look, one of them got 8,000. One of them got 5,000. Which is just so much more. This one blew up after I put it out. This one blew up after I put it out. But all of these were like relatively unsuccessful shorts. Go back to videos. My first video was April 22nd. I did a deck tech, and I was just so excited to be able to talk about goblins. We didn't really have like the ability to do leagues, so we were just talking. I think it was on my laptop, or we had like very basic early PC, but we didn't have mtgo because we didn't buy the cards yet. And I do this to show you that my beginning content wasn't the greatest, right? I had an idea of what I wanted for the channel. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, but I had to like try a bunch of different things, right? Spoilers is kind of a hack. I will say, if you want to do magic content in general, spoiler season is the best season to get started. I got really lucky that my spoiler season was the end of Outlaws of Thunder Junction and the very beginning of MH3. As soon as I saw the MH3 cards, I just threw them up. And so I actually wrote a script. Crazy that a goblin has a script, but if I can get this to work, I have a script, and basically I came up with this method over time. If we go back to my analytics, I came up with this method over time where I call it the cracked ice method. And you have to bear with me because I kind of ramble a little bit. But the idea is that YouTube has built-in resistance. The first time that I saw this was in that, if we go back to the content when I showed you, it was like 2 shorts, 3 shorts, 8 shorts. YouTube has built-in resistance. And so I feel like you have to create above the average amount of content in order for the weight of what you do, because it will stack, to push your stuff through the ice of YouTube. Because YouTube has maybe like, a billion people putting out 1 or 2 videos a day. If you put out 1 or 2 videos a day, the ice remains unfazed. The only people that will see your videos are your subscribers, maybe. But if you're putting out, 5 shorts a day, 10 shorts a day, 15, 20, 30 shorts a day, right? Then the ice progressively becomes more cracked. And that sounds insane to say, but this is how I started getting these spikes on my channel. Was I would start to release 30 shorts a day. I focused consistently when I lost my job. I hit my head. I was working I was working somewhere doing assembly, and I hit my head, got a really bad concussion, and I lost my job. And so what I did was I decided to focus full time on YouTube and do it as much as I possibly could, throw as much energy into it as I could. And what I decided to do is I challenged myself. I said I have to do 30 shorts a day. Now that sounds insane, but if we go back to the content, right? If we just duplicate this page, that was something that I didn't have anything else to do, so I did it. If we go back, we go date, right? We can go to 50. The issue with this is there's going to be a billion pages because we did it. It was like 30 shorts a day for 2 straight months. And so if we go back, that's the reason I have 2,000 videos, honestly. So this was April. Oh, we're looking at videos, not shorts. So if we go, it's going to take forever. But there was a long period of time when I made 30 shorts a day. It was something that I really enjoyed doing, was just waking up and challenging myself to make content, to just be like, okay, how many times can I talk about goblins? Like physically, how many times can I talk about goblins? So if we could possibly somehow get to December 12th. Okay. This is when it began. So 12. Okay, so that was 8. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's another 8. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that was 9. The thing is, you see a trend when you watch. Okay, and this sounds like mad goblin rambling, but hear me out. One of the big things that you do is you watch your analytics. And you can watch in the last 48 hours when there are spikes and when the spikes go down. And you can correlate these spikes because it gives you the times, right? You correlate these spikes to when you release your content, right? Because you know what time you released, and you're like, okay, well, relatively the 6th short was, this spike, right? And then you try to isolate, okay, so what content did good, what content did bad. And that's if I had to go super high level, which is where I want to be. So if we get to 17, 19, 21, 22, I think it was after December is when I really started going crazy. 30, 31, January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd. Yeah, so the idea being you want to get as much weight on the ice as possible. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So at this point, I'm trying to do just like 15 shorts a day, and then I'm gradually ramping up. I started at 10. I'm gradually ramping up because I'm seeing my numbers grow up, and what I get to do is cast this really wide net. I get to see, okay, I have this huge data set, and now I get to look at all of these different shorts, right? And I get to see, okay, well, this one was 37 seconds and it got 400 views and 1 like, 1 dislike. This one's 11 seconds and it got 400 views, same amount of views. It also got 2 comments and it got 5 likes, and it's 11 seconds. right? So you're like, okay, well, that tells me three things, right? Maybe the substance of what we were talking about was better in that short, but it's probably the fact that a shorter clip does better because it gets more views faster. And if people really like it, then because they see it more, they're going to be more inspired to talk or think and comment and interact with it. And once you start thinking about something, you're probably going to like it because it made you think. And so there's a lot of like inferences you can take. Like all of these shorts, right? I would release them, and then the next day I would go back and be like, okay, well, this short didn't do well, right? This short did slightly better, right? Even though they got the same likes, this one got more views. Both got no comments. This one got nothing, right? Why was that? Let's think about that. Well, maybe it's because it's above 30 seconds. Maybe it's because people are just not believing that the fact that of what I'm talking about is true. Maybe I'm just like copium in this segment. And you do this for everything, right? And there's three really cool things about posting in volume, right? First off, you start to get those cracks in the ice, and once you get that ice to break, right, that's why I use the 30 shorts analogy. That's just what I would challenge myself to do for a while, like up until I think it was December, because I lost my job earlier than that. So we're back in April, May, June, July, August, October, November. It must have been December. Yeah, because I wasn't doing a lot. I must have lost my job like right about here. So, hey, appreciate you dropping in. So, the way that I would describe it is you need to make a volume of work, and then you just need to be consistent because the pressure on the ice is cumulative. Um, it's it's something where the more that you make, the better chance that you are going to be shown to somebody over somebody else. And you also get to infer a lot of information from what you release. You get to say, okay, well, I'm going to look at the length of each of these shorts. I'm going to see, okay, well, this one got literally no views. Was it because the camera was bad? Was it because what I was talking about was bad? Was it because the editing was bad? Was it because the thumbnail and or the title wasn't interesting? Like there's a lot of things you can infer, and these are all data points. And that kind of brings me to my second point, which is I love statistics, and statistics is your best friend. If you're looking at all this information, right? I make a conscious effort to try to make 30 shorts a day here, right? And just like make as many shorts as I can about anything. I start doing the universes beyond magic in magic, which is a series where I grab items from around the house and I say, well, this is a green apple, and then I completely make up what the card would be if it was in Magic the Gathering as like a universes beyond magic in magic set. And I did that for a long time. I did that for probably a month and a half. And it was like my backup content when I didn't have anything like creative to say because I was burnt out about like talking about cards. And it was kind of a fun little segment. And you need to like have all of this consistent. This is the other thing. Once you put the weight on the ice and it cracks with the volume of work that you're releasing, not only do you get the information from the volume of work that you're releasing, because you get to narrow in on the things that you see that are resonating with your audience, and then the other things that you see aren't resonating with your audience, you think about why they aren't and see if you can fix it because you obviously created it because you like it, or you let it go and you move on to something new and you experiment with something else. That's the other thing about releasing like 30 shorts a day or as many videos as you possibly can in a short period of time is you get to experience like 2 years worth of creation in a month. If you make 30 shorts a day and somebody makes one short a day, you get to literally experience like years. You're putting your life on fast forward on like in the YouTube sense. So I feel like it's really important to try in the beginning if you want to try to do something creative. You want to try to do like a YouTube channel. The first thing I would challenge you to do is do a body of work. Get a volume of work out there and then like study the results. Study what does well and what doesn't, and try to refine and just keep going at it over and over and over again. You have to kind of think about YouTube as, someone told me once, you have to think about YouTube as like a TV show or like a radio show where, you know, people are doing their life, but they know that at a certain time they can click a button and turn their show on and watch you or listen to you. And so consistency is super important, because I will say that that ice that we were trying to crack by making a volume of work, right? It reheals every day. So if you take a day off, you have to like really hope that your next volume of work is going to break that ice again. Or you can just continuously every day make a commitment to making content. And what that will do is that will stack the weight on the ice so that it is broken, and you constantly, it's constantly pushing your content to the listener. And so I think that um, you you really need to think about it like a distributor and a buyer. YouTube is the buyer, you're the distributor. If you're not consistent with your stock, if you're not consistent with the stuff you have in your warehouse, if you're not consistent with the ability you have to supply YouTube with fun and engaging content, YouTube's not going to be interested in what you're doing. And so I feel like the body of work is helpful in those two senses, where one, it shows YouTube, look, this person is X amount of times more consistent than, you know, the baseline average that they're comparing you to. That takes me to another thing. I think YouTube is a formula. Everybody says it's an algorithm, but I think it's a formula that we can simply express. If I just go to a Google Doc, I think it's pretty straightforward in my experience, which is very little. I've only been doing this for a year. If I had to create a formula, I would probably do it like this. It would be your videos plus, and this is relative, very relative, videos plus shorts plus posts plus lives. And that will equal, or yeah, lives, subtracted by what the average benchmark. So we'll just do Y as the YouTube average benchmark of what every other creator does. You are compared to the average of every other YouTube creator. And so what you need to do is set yourself apart from being average. And this number, this whole equation will equal your, we'll call it your score. So this number equals your score in YouTube. This is my algorithm. I can't spell. That's okay. I'm a goblin. The amount of videos you make, plus the amount of shorts that you make, plus the amount of posts that you make, plus the amount of live streams that you make a day, subtracted by the average collective number for everybody for YouTube. Right? If YouTube averages everybody with this same part, if they take this from everybody and average it, so you divide it by the number of people that you just took from, and that's going to be this. So you have to make sure that you are higher than the average YouTube creator on YouTube. And that score is your daily score. This score is cumulatively added over time. And negative scores cumulatively added over time, aka it stacks. Negative scores, aka days off, are really bad. But yeah, so this is basically, if I had to like take the equation part of it and just put it on a piece of paper, I think that as long as you're doing, you know, do a live stream a day, make a post advertising your live stream, then you do a couple shorts about something that you like. That's the other thing about, I think, YouTube. All this stuff that I'm describing only works if you love what you're doing, right? I love magic and I love goblins, and I'll play it till the day that I die. And so making 30 YouTube shorts a day is entertaining for me. Making a lot of content is fun for me. I like waking up and being like, okay, time to make YouTube shorts. What am I going to talk about today? How am I going to make somebody laugh? Because then I get to, the cool thing about making magic content is I love magic. So I watch my content back, like to edit it. And I enjoy it. I enjoy what I do. It's one of the most like amazing things in the world. And I'm making this video to hope that I can show it to people and they can understand something more about YouTube, and they feel like there's less of a barrier to entry to try to make content, because I feel like everybody who has a passion can be successful on YouTube. They just need to know these certain things. So we've talked about the cracked ice. We've talked about how there's resistance and how your posting has to be consistent, because if you're not being consistent, then YouTube is going to take this if you're not posting on like 2 days, you post one day, then you don't post for 2 days, you're going to have a negative score for 2 days and then a positive score for 1 day. And then you're going to be wondering why nobody's seeing your videos. So you have to post every day. You have to be conscious of how you're comparing to the average YouTuber, how your stuff is averaging out. You have to have a distributor to a buyer mentality, which is if I'm not consistent in my content, then the buyer, YouTube, won't take my stuff and give it to the listener. They're gonna say, no, you don't care about this, and they're gonna give their views to somebody else. You have to make sure that you make a volume of work so that you have a large data set to pull inferences from, as well as to just get a bunch of weight on that ice, even if you're not getting a lot of views. If you make 30 shorts a day for 2 months, right, then you're going to have more shorts out there than most people who make YouTube content. And then that will just push you right through the ice. Days stack continuously. So the score is stacks over time, and that's kind of the idea behind making the volume of work. Is if you have all this weight on the ice, nothing can stop you. Even if you're new, even if your takes aren't quote unquote the greatest yet, right? You're experimenting, you're trying. Maybe you don't read the card right, but then chat corrects you, and that's totally fine. I feel like that's how you're going to take advantage of the situation. Is you need to make sure that you're trying and that the effort is being put in, because I think that ultimately it's an effort thing. If you're willing to put the effort in, YouTube will give you the results, and you have to be consistent and you have to be above average. And if you're willing to fight to try to put out consistently good content, even if the end result isn't quote unquote traditionally good, if you're trying to make it the best content you can consistently, it will get better over time. And that's what you're aiming for. Volume is collective, so like that weight that you have, it's going to add up over time, and it's going to push your stuff to the listener, to the consumer. I use the term consumer because that's how YouTube looks at it, right? You have to think about it in terms of how YouTube is going to think about your content. If YouTube can market the content to sell ads, YouTube will. And so that's the reality of it. And you make content because you love it, but you have to make enough content for YouTube to be able to take some of it and try to make money off of it. The benchmark, this is the algorithm score that we talked about. Videos plus shorts plus posts plus lives together minus the average of what that score for every YouTuber is your daily score. And if you have a positive score, it adds over time, and your score will get better and better as you create content, eventually pushing you through to bigger and bigger audiences. Days off give you negative scores. Doing different things helps. So like if you're trying to do, you try to do 30 shorts a day, but you realize you can only do 10. Totally fair. 1000%. I was doing a lot of content, and then I realized, well, actually after a certain point, I'm getting diminishing returns, but it was to set my bar so high that I got comfortable making 15, 20 shorts a day. Right. And then like you hone in on, okay, well, everything after the third short got views, and then it ended at the 9th short. Everything after that got no views. Well, then you say, well, maybe it's just 6 shorts. That's the number. Then you try 6, and maybe 6 isn't as good as 7, and then you do 7, and actually 7 isn't as good as 5, and then 5 isn't as good as 6, and you hone in on this like region of 5, 6, and 7 numbers of shorts that you want to make every day, and you have to find what that special spot is for your channel. You have to find what it is that works for you. And so you start with all of this work, and you get to experiment with all these different kinds of ideas, and it allows you to gently funnel your ideas into eventually something very focused and very direct and successful. Let me see. Statistics are your friend, 1,000%. If you're willing to read graphs, if you're willing to look at data, you can be like, okay, well, this peak was when I released my stuff, and I went live last night, right? Like, you try to line up your data points, and you understand what you're doing. Flexlot is a sideboard website where you can build your own guide. So if we go to flexlot.gg, shout out to George Jabor and the whole Flexlot team. They are a sideboarding, deck building, and tournament prep for the grindy matchups. If you ever wrote your sideboard down on a piece of paper and you got really sad because you couldn't read it, well, I have news for you. You can go to flexlot.gg and you can say, okay, well, in this matchup, we're going to cut 4 vials, and in this matchup we're going to cut 4 vials. Like, I haven't fleshed mine out all the way. I think this is the better example, the Pioneer one, because I had to take a lot of cards out of the other one. So if we're in this matchup, right, we're going to trim a Skirk, and we're going to cut the Call of the Death Dwellers against Azorius control, and we're going to bring in 4 Thoughtseize. Like, and then if you like, oh, you're playing against mono black mid range, well, we just run it back. We don't have anything in the board for that. Junsack, same thing. 5 color incarnation. Well, then we're going to trim a Trash Master, a Snoop, 2 Prospectors, and bring in 4 Thoughtseizes. So it's really nice because it allows you to see, and you can print. You can choose what the top. You can import the meta, and then you can change all of these. You can choose how difficult the matchup is, and then you can give yourself like just like a little bit of an edge, because you going into it, you know what the top 5 decks are, you're prepared for the top 5 decks, and then you have it, instead of it written down, you have it visually going into the tournament, and you have it printed out on a piece of paper just like this. That's super small, super concise, and you have all of your matchups on one piece of paper. I highly recommend Flexlot, and it's like MTG Goldfish or Moxfield, because you can make decks on them. All my decks are public here. We just played this Dragonstorm deck last night on stream because dragons eat goblins, and that's canon. That's how they become. That's how we are able to canonically play dragons last night, was because we played we play goblins. They eat goblins. We play dragons because they got eaten. We're controlling them from the inside. But to go back to basically what I was saying, statistics is your friend. If you're willing to, take the time to read the graphs, if you're willing to take the time to infer data that's non-obvious from, what you do, if you go to like your content and you go back to here, I can be like, okay, well, I released everything after Paradox Engine. So today I released Braids, and Braids is almost at 1,000, so that's really good. Maybe that's the head being on the side of the video. It's right above the like bar, so that's something. There's like a lot of like things I could do. Maybe it's the thumbnail, maybe it's the question in the title. It got almost 1,000 views in like the first 2 hours of being out. Coalition Victory has my head on the art as one of the people. Maybe that's less entertaining than my head being on the side, like sticking out like a goblin, like a Snoop, right? Maybe that's slightly different, and maybe that inference is correct, because if we look at Gifts Ungiven, Gifts has my face on the art as well, and we again have less views. I think all of these are pretty similar, like level of short. This one is over twice as long. and it talks about like all of the BNR announcements. And so it got more views than both of these. And I think my head is on the side in most of these. So maybe putting my head to the side is better than putting it on the art. And these are the kinds of like questions and inferences that you have to like look for in what you do, to try to make it successful. So super high level, to go back to what I was saying, to tie it all up, the cracked ice method. You have to make more stuff than the other people who make stuff, or YouTube's natural resistance will just bounce you off. You have to be consistent. If you do that, if you make enough stuff to put cracks in the ice, it's cold out. That ice is going to heal the next day, and it's going to be harder for you to get through it again. Once you break through that ice, you have to stay releasing content. You have to stay consistent, because if you don't, then YouTube's going to be like, oh, well, we're not going to be doing this all over again, like over and over again. They want you to be like open. They want you to destroy the ice and then build a bridge like straight down, so that the ice can't heal, and you're like constantly, or pave a road, I should say, straight down, so that the ice can't heal. You're going in, you're releasing content every day, you're being consistent, and YouTube can depend upon you to, be a part of the algorithm. And so you have to be consistent. You have to make a lot of it. You have to be willing to take inferences from your data. Read your graphs, look at things, ask yourself questions. It's a lot, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And I think that, if you're willing, if you're passionate, if you want to put effort into it, I think that anybody can be successful on YouTube. Hell, these are my numbers in 1 year. Happy birthday to the YouTube channel. Happy birthday to all the goblins in the horde. And yeah, this has been my cracked ice method. Just try to start with a lot of stuff so that you can explore a lot of things early. Slowly cut down over time and funnel in on what it is that you believe to be the best representation of what you want to be doing in the format. And just try to have fun with it. Honestly, I think that one of the best compliments that I ever got about the channel was that it's like an old school vlog, and I'm just like phone out, just recording my life, and I think that there's a lot to be said about not being sterile and trying to like create a script for everything. I wanted to create a script for this one because it's pretty techy. It's pretty I love numbers, I love math, and so we're talking equations and stuff. So I wanted to be concise. But if you have passion, if you have a desire to create, I think YouTube is a beautiful place, and you just have to be willing to consistently put effort in over time. And if you do that, you can be successful. You who are watching this video can do the thing that you want to do, the thing that you love more than anything in the world, the thing that everybody tells you you can't do. You can do it. I believe in you. The goblins believe in you. And thank you for watching. I will be streaming later today. I'm doing a podcast with my brother tonight that'll be releasing probably tomorrow or the next day. But, overall, I just want to say thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for watching. It means the world to me. If I go to if I go to analytics, it's like this number is insane. 227,000 people return every month to watch my stuff. That blows my mind. That makes me incredibly humble. If even a sliver of you, actually enjoy what I do, then that means the world to me. Because I used to just ramble about goblins, and people would just laugh at me and tell me to be quiet. And so now I have a mic, now I got a camera, and I got a goblin horde behind me. So thank you. It means the world to me. And happy birthday to the channel. I hope you have a beautiful day. Peace.